On November 29, 2000, my husband and I were blessed with a beautiful baby boy. Trey was born healthy, fat, with a ton of curly hair. When he was 2 weeks old, we took him to the pediatrician for his first round of immunizations. I cried when they gave him his shots, and if I had only known then that I would be giving him immunizations or shots daily in the next coming weeks. The following week, my husband and I noticed that Trey had an overly developed left calf muscle. We were brand new parents, and we were unsure if one leg had too much of something or if one leg didn't have enough, so we rushed him back to the doctor. They performed an x-ray, and the doctor came back in and told me that I should take him to Texas Children's Hospital for further testing. And I remember asking him, this is something we can fix, right? And he told me that we would need to take things one day at a time. And that's the first time I ever felt my heart stop beating. And the following days were full of biopsies and tests and exams. And we were told on January 5th that in Trey's leg was a tumor called infantile fibrosarcoma. It was most likely that he would lose his leg, but chemotherapy had worked in the past to save limbs, and it was definitely worth trying. And Trey began chemotherapy when he was 5 weeks old. I didn't know anything about cancer or chemotherapy back then. I had no idea the important role that blood would play in his treatment. The first time a nurse walked in carrying the dark red bag, I was shocked and terrified. I begged her, please take all of mine, just don't put a stranger's blood in my baby. But it doesn't work that way. There was a time and he needed more blood than I could give him over the next 9 months. So it's a humbling position as a parent for your child to need something that you can't provide. And we were at the mercy of strangers, but they were there for us. And everything changed. I was always scared. That part didn't change, but the way I viewed things, especially the blood transfusions, that part did change. Because he wasn't just receiving red cells and platelets, and he was receiving like rosy cheeks and energy that he could laugh and we could play. But most of all, he was receiving another day. And the time came when chemotherapy was no longer an option. The chemo had taken a toll on my little man's body, and a tumor resection was planned, but no one knew for certain if his leg could be saved. And that's okay. Your perspective changes. We can, of course we wanted him to come out with 10 little fingers and 10 little toes, but we just needed him. And when we were in the waiting room before the surgery, Trey stood for the first time. So I believe with all my heart that was God's way of letting me know that it was a gift, that no matter how it ended up, we saw our son stand on his own 2 feet. And he would go into surgery a cancer patient, but he would come out a cancer survivor. We are the lucky ones. And our families and friends, we waited in the waiting area, and I was actually the first one to see the surgeon walk back through coming down the corridor, and I knew right away that something was terribly, terribly wrong. And Trey's heart had stopped beating, and he was in ICU. So the next day, Trey still hadn't woken up on his own, and there were lots of discussions and tests with the doctors that weren't too positive. And he started having seizures, and he even stopped breathing on his own. And the date was September 11th, 2001. So there was an email that went around the internet, and it was titled "Where Was God" on September 11th. And with all the catastrophes and horrible things that were happening, I promise you, he was also at Texas Children's Hospital watching over my baby. Thanks to blood donors, and Trey, he's 10 years old. He's healthy, he's happy, he's funny, he's energetic, he's smart, he plays hockey, golf, and he loves to fish, and loves to drive his sister crazy, and he makes me proud. Thanks to everyone for committing for life.